I think something massive is going to happen to crypto in about 48 hours. Long story short is we got rejected for Bitcoin at 72,000. And right now at that $72,000 mark, there are almost $3 billion worth of Bitcoin position liquidations that will take place. And so if we get there, things will probably get pretty wild. But at the same time, I ain't no fool. When looking through the interwebs, there are a ton of people calling for a reversal of the bullish trend, for things to finally start climbing down. And ladies and gentlemen, I honestly believe that the FOMC meeting that is about to take place in less than 48 hours from now might be the thing that sparks it. And the reason I say that so confidently is because most of the time, whenever the FOMC rolls around and the interest rate gets announced, we see a shake in traditional stock prices and very often in Bitcoin too. Now, as right now, we are very indecisive. People are not sure if we're going to break down below 67 or break out above 72. We're in that middle ground. Now, just to put into perspective, most people right now have that upward bias where we expect that throughout the next few days we'll just be going towards the upside ever so slightly and then break out above this trend line. But the question, a good question could be, what is going to cause that? And a very good cause might be the FOMC. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, in the world of AI, something very interesting has just happened. And I've said it 1,000 times, I think where the majority of people in crypto right now will be making their money, if they're smart, is in the AI crypto sector. I think that's where the majority of the money is going to lie. I'm talking about turning $1,000 into tens of thousands of dollars over the next few months. However, some things have just been announced that are really quite interesting. It has two sides. First, take a look at this. Apple made the announcement that it will officially open up a partnership with OpenAI and will integrate ChatGPT into the iPhone. So something pretty massive. They've announced some other interesting things like tap to pay, but that's besides the point. Elon Musk's reaction to this, though, is, I think, a lot more interesting. Elon says if Apple integrates OpenAI's woke nanny AI spyware into its devices, he might launch a phone with Grok integrated. Elon says he will ban all Apple devices at his companies if Apple integrates OpenAI at the iOS, or I should say operation system level. Stop this creepy spyware, or all Apple devices will be banned from the premises of my companies. In his own words, it's patently absurd that Apple isn't smart enough to make their own AI, yet is somehow capable of ensuring that OpenAI will protect your security and privacy. Apple has no clue what's actually going on, and once they hand your data to OpenAI, they're selling you down the river. And I guess at the end of the day, they're all in the business of selling your information. Anyway, so regardless of what Elon Musk says, bullish for AI, bullish for the whole narrative, and it makes you rethink again of just how massive things are about to get throughout the next few months. So, keep that on your radar. At the same time, just in now, BNB is dumping. And right here, it says like 4%. But I think if we refresh, it's going a bit crazier than that. On my phone, it says it's down about 7. Yeah, you can see 8% or so today all of a sudden. Matter of fact, a lot of coins are down some massive numbers today. And I guess it's just because Bitcoin is not finding its grip, not making that new... I think I got attacked by a little piece of dust, which is ironical because of my name, obviously. And a little side note, soon I'll get you guys a video on how to prepare yourself better for some really stupid shenanigans when it comes to altcoin unlocks. Like Echelon Prime, we could have kind of known that it was going to have a massive dump. Why? Well, if we take a look at the unlock schedule, this is just something I'm giving out for you guys real quick, is right here today, all of a sudden a massive unlock opened for, I guess here, the Echelon Foundation. So they themselves were able to now basically dump, $15 million or so all of a sudden in a single day. And then from here on out, I guess perhaps every month, about 1.66 million, so about $16 million, $24 million actually worth of their token going to be able to dump. Or perhaps it's some other other investors here actually. And very often this is not a bad thing because the market kind of finds its way around this. However, when it's such a massive cliff all of a sudden with such a huge number afterwards, that hits like a truck, right? Whereas most of this is just gradual, this is a massive start. Talking about things starting, we had some good news on the Ethereum ETFs. James Sefford says the SEC just added the ProShares ETF filing to its website. That is extremely quick. Instinct initially says this won't launch on day one with the other ETFs, or whenever that is, but who knows. This is interesting. 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 is sharing, looks like ProShares entering spot ETF race. Was always surprised that they didn't launch a spot Bitcoin ETF. Then again, that account is now banned, so perhaps this was not as true as we thought or something. Anyway, to keep the spirit of things starting up, BlackRock, they have started up actually a while back. And did you know that right now they hold $21 billion worth of Bitcoin? I know that number might scare you, and it should, because not very long will be the times where you can just buy a Bitcoin as an individual, as a householder. So $70,000 is very steep, but it's possible for many to hold one, I should point out. But in a few years, I personally think we'll be talking in the millions when we're talking about Bitcoin. Maybe sometimes going to be 0.5 million, sometimes 0.1 million, whatever. But in the millions over the years. And holding one will be such a crazy thing to think about. Even right now, for example, if we're taking the US, there's a lot of millionaires, right? Yes, many of them are old, and it's not cash millionaires. I'm talking about they have equity, you've got money in their house, etc., and they become a millionaire because of maybe their 401k, etc., over time. Imagine that whole life process to eventually end up, saving your whole life to get to one Bitcoin. Now, again, I'm not out of touch. I understand that many people will save their whole lives and won't be able to save $2,000, which even now is not even, a big part of a Bitcoin, I'd say. I understand that very well. I'm just saying that if you're not able to get one now, it's going to be a heck of a lot harder if these guys are basically out-competing you for it. Now, I will say that BlackRock, we saw all those articles a while back. They're buying up all the homes. They want to make sure that if you want to get a home, you're going to have to rent it via them. You're never going to be able to buy one. I remember those articles. However, I've also now noticed that some of the bigger complexes are actually being sold. Two things. One to note is that what comes up must come down. They will eventually let go of some Bitcoin here and there. That's why there will be outflows. But ultimately, the line is upwards. And second of all, perhaps this outflow in other markets is actually because of massive inflows into this Bitcoin, into this crypto sector, because Bitcoin is a step one, but I think the tokenization of very many things will be the next big step for BlackRock, will be the next big step for all these institutions around. And so they got to bundle their forces, get the capital ready, and most importantly, put pressure on what they want to see grow most, right? They got to water it right now to see all those little flowers start to come out of the ground. Now, I will say something else. Ash actually shared earlier today, breaking. Bitcoin whales have opened giga-long positions on Bybit and OKX. The last time this happened was when Bitcoin was at 29,000, which resulted in a 155% pump. And what he is showcasing is the taker buy to sell ratio. I showed this to you guys a little while back, and indeed the price did pump pretty quickly after it spiked. Right now it's going a bit too peaky. I'm not sure exactly why exactly this is happening or what is going on. It's probably nothing, right? Well, no, don't take this too serious. It's just funny to look at. It's not that indicative. However, the last two times it was pretty accurate, so perhaps history repeats itself. And again, if we take that keyword history and look back at exactly 1 year ago at the Solana charts, just for fun, take a look and enjoy. At that point, everybody was fearful because Solana dropped from $16.50 all the way down to $15 in a massive drop. It was pretty scary times. And then now I look back at that and think, if only, huh? Because that was like a 10% drop in a very short amount of time. This is the minute chart that you're seeing right there. So 10% in like minutes. But now it's up 10x from that. And I believe a similar sort of thing will happen to many of the coins we know and love. And perhaps about 48 hours from now is where things start to get spicy again. I'm ready for it. Hopefully you guys are too. That's about it for this crypto video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. So you guys get another one, hopefully tomorrow.